Hey, it's your old pal SimplySuperDave coming at you live from the great state of Louisiana here in these crazy United States on this crazy planet spinning out of control in this crazy universe we call life. I hope everybody's having a excellent start to their December. This is the last month of 2023 as we move into 2024, the year. The previews that we get of the next year, you watch TV and media and you get all the, next year's election year. Of course, all that political shit gets thrown in there. That makes it interesting right off the bat because that affects everybody's lives. But we're not going to get political today. But it does deal a lot with what we'll swing into that. How about that? We'll swing into that. I don't want to start it off all serious on you. I'd like to say hi for a minute and get you caught up in my life a little bit. In my life, it is a direct effect of a lot of those things that, we don't want to talk political. But unfortunately, you got to watch what you ask for. When you pray and when you make a wish before you blow out a candle at a birthday cake, whatever it is where you get that moment to just wish for something, right? Just watch what you wish for. I wanted people like 20 years ago to be so more politically involved, to care about what's going on. And I think I asked for I got a little bit too much of it, really. And because it seems like it's a consuming thing, and that's because media pushes it so much. I mean, CNN only existed because of the Iraq war, and actually the first one, Desert Storm. And because of Desert Storm back in the 90s when I was in high school, the only time you caught the news was in certain times of the day when the news actually came on, in the mornings mostly. There's a little noon hour lunchtime, and then later on in the evening at 6, and then, hey, we'll wrap you up around 10:30 at night. Now you had 24 hours. That's when that kicked in. Early 90s, maybe late 80s. But I want to say, let's just say 1990, round it off, right? Because that's the decade where it switched over. And that's the best decade ever, in my opinion. As much as the 70s rocks and all the importance of all those decades, the climax, the most fun decade to live through was the 1990s, in my opinion. That's when we all kind of came together. There's still problems, and you're going to deal with problems that existed for millions and hundreds of years. I mean, you know what? People say that, you watch animals in the wild fight among each other for certain reasons. It isn't because of just the way they look. It's a dominance and a cultural thing. And human species is no different. But since we're so highly evolved, we get to live this wonderful life of figuring out how to coexist and be friendly with one another instead of so hostile and primal. Is the word I was looking for, primal, which is an instinct you'll always have. It'll be dug down deep in you because you become civil and nice and courteous to other people. You're using your brain to exhiberate your emotions and feelings, things that other things on the planet do, but not so eloquently motivated as we do. So that's the motivation of it. Animals they just live completely primal because they're out in the wild. We're not there. No human on this planet lives out in the wild. And, well, except for certain tribes. And those people, I would love to study those people. I would find that so fascinating. Anyway, because the very few on the earth are supposed to survive at the end. It just makes sense to me. But anyway, they're not connected to the internet. They're digitally unhooked naturally, and they don't want no part of it. They don't even know it exists. They don't even know what it is. The concepts, like I said, so very primal and basic. You're a complex person. Oh, an entity. I'm sorry. You're not even the person that you are. You're just in this big meat vehicle running around on the planet, just having adventures and living throughout the day, having the concept that you have forever in time to do everything that you want. Unlike the primal animal on the planet, which doesn't know, if there is going to be a next day, and the concept that it would run on forever. Well, I don't know, because when an animal, they will go to the day that, they know They know, I don't know, that primal urge like a dog knows, and it wants to be alone, it runs off. A lot of people don't know that, but dogs tend to want to be alone. They don't want to be in front of you. They never want to appear weak. It's fascinating. I know there's a lot of cat lovers out there, but I'm personally attached to dogs. I feel doggish. If I was a personality, I would have a dog personality, probably, not a cat. But even though I get the cat a lot, I understand the cat. But, well, I understand that I'm not going to understand things about the cat. Let's put it that way. I'm not that stupid or arrogant. But I'm very confident in my thoughts and feelings about life. I don't throw it out. I try not to be arrogant. Even though if you ever get to really know me and talk to me, I will come off that way. But it's just because I fuck it, why not? This is who I am. This is my character. This is the person I'm portraying to be to everybody. And in my private time, I try to equal it out. But yeah, there's going to always be a private side to life. And as much as I talk deeply about things here on this podcast, I do keep a very private life. I do tend to talk about things that everybody thinks about, not just what I think about or what I share in my personal life with real people in my little circle, because I am a recluse and I don't have a really small, tight circle. Even though I have this huge world around me, I keep it tight, and so that's just me. Some people have big circles, big bubbles. Remember the bubble theory? That's where that all comes from. I have a tight little bubble, and if you looked in a bubble bath, I'd be one of the little spuddles over there in the corner. Doing a podcast, expecting to be a big bubble, and that just mentally off. Says a lot about me, actually. But, the podcast was going to start off about really just talking about how life is just hard, sometimes. And you have the choice to do whatever you want with it. We live in this constraints that this is society, but that is the agreement between all of this, is that we all live by a certain way of life in certain areas on this planet. And for the first time in history in those 90s is when the internet was really just unleashed upon us, especially at the late end of it. That it became more easy to navigate for people of ordinary, everybody. You didn't have to be a computer genius to use the internet, which existed before, but the access for the everyday person, no matter how primal you are, then you can get that playground that never existed on this planet before. No matter how advanced other societies have been for us and civilizations that existed before time that we think has existed, none of them were ever fully connected by something. So when we enter into this last month of December 2023, looking forward to the preview and the real build-up to how 2024 is going to play out, just be ready, because it's going to get crazy. And you're going to have to trust yourself more than ever before, because you got to adapt to change. If you don't adapt to change, you get left behind. You never want to get left behind, folks. And that's why we try to do the podcast, is because for me to stay super, I need to share my inner thoughts and feelings, because it's my therapy. I don't want to pay anybody $50 to talk about what I think and get interaction and truth, even from trolls. That's why I invite trolls. Like when I'd streamed, and I got so excited when a troll would come into my stream, because I have a stored vault of anger, just like every other human does. And how I process it is that I realize that if it takes out time for me and it makes a negative impact in my life because I react to someone else's comments or actions, then I'm wasting my time. And so, thanks to the military and my upbringing by a former drill sergeant himself, my grandfather, you couldn't mentally fuck with me, and that's just the way it goes. And if you did mentally fuck with me, I enjoyed it, because I have a mixture bowl, and I have these two battling iron what do you call them? Scramblers, just going, 100%. So if you want to jump in there, I will fucking tear you up. But I do it in a nice way because I'm a very polite, nice guy. So why would I be angry like everybody else? It doesn't get the point across. You end up insulting one another to the point where you forget what the reason why you were arguing to begin with. You just now hate each other because you've come up with the very most personable things to talk about something that's not personable at all. So there we are. That's what the internet is today. And that's how everybody's mixed up in it. But if you come at me, I'm sorry, you just can't mentally route me with a comment or bro's bad or something like that. I think I got that one today and I had fun with that one. And I was like, yeah, bad like Michael Jackson. But, Jackson was a recluse and he was the biggest pop superstar of all time. So who knows where the podcast may go one day. I just want to inspire thought-provoking ideas. Make people kind of mentally aware what life really is compared to what has been pushed and brainwashed, even upon me, on what life must be to be successful. What is successful? It is whatever makes you the happiest in your life, no matter what it is to anyone else. And that's the hardest part we got to realize, that you don't have to be the most popular, most viewed, viral thing in the world to be successful. You just got to do what you want to do. And that's why I do the podcast. I did streaming because I love streaming, because it was like podcasting but playing video games. And it was then I found different streams that did in different subjects. Everything from reading poetry to doing crochet to stargazing and just traveling, just everything you could possibly think of. There's a human being out there living that life that you can follow and experience and keep up with or interact with because you're too poor to ever do it yourself. But there's other people out there living the dream, right? It's like sharing, a mental experience. And because physically, obviously, you're not doing it. I'm a big Fortnite fan. If you don't follow me on TikTok, follow me on TikTok. I do love video games. I may be almost 50, but hey, I've been rocking since Atari. So, and if you don't know what Atari is, then you're not no OG gamer. I'm sorry. But it goes even back than Atari. PC gamers will always claim the fame to Pong, but Pong did come out as a, what was the name of that first system? It may have been an Atari as well, but it seemed like it had a different name. It doesn't matter. Mario changed it all, but Atari was the endless game. The game never had an end. There wasn't a game that had an end. I never knew that as a kid. Played Pitfall for fucking 4 hours, falling asleep with the controller. Make sure you don't hit the crocodile, and just praying you would hit that cave that had the treasure, but you didn't know which way to go because it was a scrolling screen and it was endless. But it was the first gaming system. Pac-Man, endless. You can play the level, whatever the fuck. There is no level end. It was endless Pac-Man. That's what it was. You would find out your gaming limit as a child, I promise you. Atari was brilliant. Once it evolved into storylines like Contra, let's talk about Nintendo right there. And things like that. Yeah, you got a purpose and end. And then slowly, we all, through TV shows and movies and everything else, that every story has a beginning and an end, and this is how it works out, and they live happily ever after. And as life gone on, ideas ran out. We had to play those storylines out, which is why you have sequels and prequels so much in the movie cinema today, because there's only so many ideas, right? How many fucking Hallmark Christmas fucking romantic comedies can there fucking possibly be about the same fucking story over and over again, but with different people, but the same goddamn storyline? Don't get me wrong, I love romantic comedies, but there is the best one in that category, and that's usually the one I'll watch over and over again until you show me a better one, or one that will interest me enough to watch a better one, okay? I will not watch every Hallmark. As much as a movie fan I am, there has to be a certain limit on how many movies you can consume, or even judge today would be classified as a classic. And personalities are a lot like that. When I got into streaming, when I started watching all these different subjects and different cultures, there'd be great radio DJs. I'd rather listen to these streaming channels than I would the radio. And I got into this whole cool, different cultures of music, and I got my dip into it. And, you pull a new playlist out of that, and you keep up with what's going on today. You're not left behind because you're dependent on what they're pushing out on 3, 6, and 12 every night. Now you have this expanded market, 24-hour news, an entire culture consumed by media, political agendas, the world played out before our very eyes on our handheld devices. We're all connected. We're all playing a part. We all have a role to play. And whether or not you lay your head down at night knowing that you did today your best is the only way that you know how to feel successful. And that's the only way I know how to stay super. So I don't do the podcast just for, myself. Obviously, I'm pushing it out there because I would hope it makes other people question things and realize that you don't have to live a certain way to be successful. You can live your way. That's all. And find what makes you happy and stick to it. And I don't know. I was thinking a while ago about how my arm is about to fall out of its socket and how much pain I'm going through, but I have to keep working every day. And the only way I can get through the pain, there's not enough BC powder in the world, I swear, is to laugh through it. To just grin and bear it. And I don't know, if it wasn't for all the love and laughter in my life, the way I want to project and who I want to be, and I don't know if I can get through the pain that my body goes through, trying to keep up with just paying the bills. So yeah, I put the podcast out because I hope, why not take my stab and my shot at it? And, that's coming past. I've dealt with that. It's no big thing. It ain't like I'm serious, like I'm talking about it now. It's a little not that dramatic, okay? It was just something fun to do. And if you got lucky, you got paid off, right? Mr. Beast or whatever. And, or Ninja, Buddha, whatever. It doesn't matter. Even some of my good friends, their level, which is not that great, but man, I idolize it because it's like that was kind of like my little dream right there, just to make that much, that would be cool, to say that. I did get paid a little bit, so I can always claim that I got paid for gaming, which was a bucket list item, but it wasn't a claim to fame or a 9-to-5 job that I would hoped it to be. But anyway, I'm willing to still find a job I can make money from in a nursing home, and I think that's going to be my backup plan right there, nursing home, Simply Super Dave. Simply Not So Super Dave anymore. That would be the name of the show. And I would stream, still be playing Fortnite probably, and having fun, and just realizing that's all I need to do to have a successful life today. Because I'm not guaranteed tomorrow. And that's how I stay super. It's really basic and primal, really. And I love it that way. So as complicated as I might be in my head, I'm a pretty simple dude. And love and laughter is the only way. Because it's all I got time for. I hope everybody out there has an excellent December, leading up to an excellent holiday. Maybe we'll drop another podcast by then. Pretty sure I'll get emotional and think about the true meaning of Christmas, and that'll be our religious podcast for the year. And we'll do a wrap-up podcast by the end of the year, and that'll just be a broad overview of what 2023 was. I'll even do a little list and go over topic by topic. So if you got suggestions and you actually listen to this podcast and you follow me on any of my social media platforms, feel free to hit me up with a message and give me a topic. In that year-round podcast, I will go over it and give you my honest opinion about it and where I think we're going in 2024. So, make sure you follow me, SimplySuperDave. I'm on YouTube. Is probably the best place you're going to find all my content, including these very podcasts, plus all my TikTok content. Well, some of it. TikTok does have an exclusive amount of content that you will not get on YouTube, but at the same time, most of my most popular TikToks usually end up on YouTube. So check me out there and give me a follow. Everything that I do, Spotify, blah, 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 it's all free. So there's no, so anything you find me for, sub, follow, share. That'd be pretty cool. I never ask anybody to really share anything, but I guess that's part of it, right? So share it. Let other people know that there's a crazy guy from Louisiana that's poor as shit and has very thought-provoking things to share with everybody, because you know what? Looking from the bottom of the barrel, you can see everything. When you look at it from the top, you just see your reflection. And that's how life is. So try to stay super and get that bubble popping a little bit bigger so you can get somewhere at least in the middle, if not to the top of the barrel yourself. Remember, folks, there's only one way to conquer hate and fear in this world. That's the opposite. Love and laughter. Think it, be it, support it, spread it. See you in a couple weeks. Dave out.